Hello people of Earth, this is the part 2 of my Zimmer Twins video. But before I get into that, I just wanted to mention that I forgot to mention the creators of Zimmer Twins at all in the last video. That video wound up being pretty stressful to make, and unfortunately that's something I completely forgot to mention, and I had meant to bring up the official making of Zimmer Twins video, and I was going to say that that's better than anything I could make about the subject. Thanks to former user Stormrocks for bringing this to my attention. I've since added that video as a link in the description and also gave a card prompt, but I just wanted to mention it here. It will of course also be linked in the description of this video. Now, on with the video. And this part's going to be about the community responses I got to my Zimmer Twins questions that I came up with. In addition to that, at the end of this video I'm going to kind of go over the process of making my previous video. So until that part, most of the recording from this will actually be from the last video. It's just I cut it out of the last video. And really I've been putting this off for way too long, so here's the rest of the responses. First, we have Obsessant, who had either 2 different usernames or 2 accounts. The first one is Montyson3, and the second is Obsessed. Their favorite character is 13. Their favorite movie they made was called Must See. I'm not actually sure if they're referring to the series or if they had a specific movie in mind. But I know that this person talked about the fact that they just made a series complaining about how they never got a must-see and they now find it pretty funny in retrospect. What he enjoyed most about the site was the community surrounding Zimmer Twins, and what he's most sad about is the main thing that connected the community together is gone. I'll now read his story. I came to Zimmer Twins in 2014 as Montyson3, seeking an alternative to GoAnimate. I used a website as Montyson3 for about a year. Then in 2015 I switched to Obsessed. As Obsessed, I got involved with the community through the Wikia and Skype. Sometime in March or April 2015, I got involved in a riot where I had a crush on another user and quit. I've always stayed in the community, and in 2017 renewed a couple times. Until in 2018 I ran out of video ideas and my VIP silently expired for the last time. As for the ways he was most impacted by the site, he says, being in the community and talking to everyone gave me lots of chances to develop and mature, especially in regards to social skills. For example, my 2015 riots taught me a good lesson about being overly obsessed with stuff. Next, we have Charlie 5 Lives. His username was Dragonov_1. His favorite starter was Misfortune. His favorite movie is one of the TV telepics called The Brainsucker Helmet. The favorite movie that he made is Edgar's Math Test. Now, with some of the questions, I didn't clearly define the type of answers I was looking for, so I kind of brought this on myself. I was meaning to ask for people's favorite Zimmer Twins minigames, but Charlie 5 Lives gave his favorite games, so I'll just read those. GTA 5, CSGO, formerly Team Fortress 2, Insurgency, and the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So that one's on me, but I don't think it really matters. It doesn't hurt to know some of the users' favorite non-Zimmer Twins video games. And again, with the favorite character question, they also said, I assume you mean outside of Zimmer Twins, so I'd say Dark Knight's Joker, but if it's in Zimmer Twins, the Alien was my favorite. Their favorite part of the site was making movies in general. He's most sad about the timing of it shutting down. Here's exactly what he said. I'm sad that honestly it wasn't shut down years before. The site was already at limited activity, and it seemed ridiculous that even through the years trying to destroy the website in the past, it took this long for Zimmer Twins to officially announce retirement. Now for his story, I joined Zimmer Twins sometime in late 2005, early 2006 after watching a couple TV pics, and I figured I should try and make movies as a kid. I was bad at them until .ca got shut down. .ca was the extension of the original Zimmer Twins website, that's what he's referring to there, and .com was the main site for everyone, and I started putting more effort when I made a new account. I quit originally in 2014 due to focusing on high school education and returned in 2018, second year of college, to properly finish Edgar's email as I wanted. As for how it affected him, he says, it definitely made me interested in video editing more. I started doing stop motion as a kid, and I did basic video editing in some software. The worst, of course, being Windows Movie Maker. By the way, Windows Vista, Windows Movie Maker was the best. Windows 10 Windows Movie Maker is garbage. He also goes on to say that he likes that Zimmer Twins got him into video editing. Next we have Thomas, who is known as GammaRay on Zimmer Twins. His favorite starter is 13 Talks. His favorite Zimmer Twins game is Psychic Stunt Wagon. His favorite Zimmer Twins character is 13. His favorite thing to do on the site was making movies. And what he's most sad about with Zimmer Twins going down is losing his childhood. Next we have jaaszi, aka Jaaszi, whose Zimmer Twins profile name was Jaaszi. His favorite starter was Mystery Box. His favorite Zimmer Twins movie was Edgar's Wishbone Wish. His favorite movie that he made was The Claw Machine because it was a must-see and got him on the spotlight. His favorite Zimmer Twins game is Flying Furball. Some of his other favorite non-Zimmer Twin games are Super Mario Odyssey, Kirby Planet Robot, and Blockland. His favorite Zimmer Twins character is 13. His favorite non-Zimmer Twins character is King DDD. He says he's an amazing video game character and no one can convince him otherwise. His favorite Zimmer Twins users are MegaGamer1, Blah, Rad, Catboy, and basically everyone he considered a friend. His favorite part of the site was making movies and friends. What he's most sad about with the site going down is the fact that a lot of his memories that he made are now gone. Even though stuff was archived, there's stuff that will always be missing. I will now read his story. How I discovered Zimmer Twins is really foggy to me. I was pretty young at the time, so I honestly don't remember exact details. But what I do remember is that my sister had an account under the name Candy Cam. I made a lot of horrible movies on her account, and you can definitely tell by the massive change of quality in said movies. Eventually my parents figured if he likes the site so much, he might as well make an account of his own, and thus Jaaszi was born. Once again, I ended up making a lot of movies as equally bad as the ones I made on my sister's account, but I slowly but surely started making actually decent movies. I don't really like talking about much of my Zimmer Twins past of anything before 2013. 2013 is when I think my stuff started to get interesting. I made some new friends, made the series I'm more well known for, Camp Survival and ZT Bloopers. Funnily enough, both series weren't exactly original. Camp Survivor was based off Catboy's Are You Zimmer Enough, which that itself was based on Total Drama Island. And ZT Bloopers was based off of SMG4's SMG4 bloopers on YouTube. I did that for a while and nothing too noteworthy happened until September 11th, 2015, the day I was put on the Spotlight page. This was major for me. For the longest time I didn't really consider myself noteworthy. Maybe I'm still not noteworthy compared to other users, but that day, that spotlight gave me such a confidence boost. Probably my crowning achievement on that site, despite many others getting the spotlight way before me. However, sadly, all good things must come to an end. The further into middle school I got, the busier I was and less interested I was in Zimmer Twins. It also wasn't helping that many of my friends were already throwing in their towel on the site, so I decided that I would not renew my VIP and wouldn't return onto the site. Sadly, I never gave a proper goodbye, instead leaving the site with a vague teaser for an arc that never happened. As for the effect Zimmer Twins had on Jaaszi's life, I'll read what he posted. I think Zimmer Twins did leave an effect on my life. I've met a lot of great people on the site, some of which I can still speak to this day thanks to this server, and some I haven't seen in a long time. I also think it kickstarted an interest in telling stories. Although drawing is my main interest outside of video games, I've had a lot of ideas for stories and such, and I like to think it was because of Zimmer Twins that sparked that part of my creative thinking. I'm really glad I was part of this experience. Sure, it was kind of a small site. Any of my friends outside of Zimmer Twins never heard of the site, and often question what the heck I was talking about, but I'm still very glad I got to have some fun making movies about two psychic twins and their talking cat. I don't think I will ever forget Zimmer Twins, and I certainly will be telling my future kids the tale of this site forever. Last, we have Vic19. His favorite starter is Idle Hands. His favorite movie is The Not So Big Escape, which I believe was a telepic. The favorite movie that he made is The Brain Creator. His favorite site game is Snack Attack. His favorite character is Edgar, and his favorite user is Stormrocks. His favorite part about the site was being able to unleash his creativity and to make friends. As for what he's most sad about with the site going down, I'll read what he wrote. Even though I haven't been active on the site for like 8 years, I used to log in every couple of months and look through it. I think knowing that it was still there was always comforting, but now that it's shutting down, it feels like a huge part of my childhood is going away. As for his story, this is what he wrote. I joined in 2005 when I saw telepics on Teletoon. I was only 5 years old, so my videos were all super bad, but it was so cool having the power to do anything. I played on and off until around 2012 when I stopped. By that point I'd moved on and started to get into more teen-oriented stuff, but I still used to talk to the friends I made on the site for a couple of years until we lost touch. As for how it affected his life, I'll read what he said. It majorly impacted my life. I used to look forward to going on the site every day. It was a creative outlet and such a big part of my childhood. I can't even put into words the impact it had on me. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to talk about some of the process of making the last video. Now before I get into this, I'd just like to point out I'm going to talk a lot about how making the video was stressful, and a lot of that was self-inflicted because I just wasn't working on the video at first. You know, I'd work on it a lot here or there, but overall there was a lot of time I just wasn't working on it. And a lot of my problems were because of that, because I kept putting it off. Essentially, it all started on August 1st. I had intended to make the video at the end of the year when Flash was about to shut down, but unfortunately, you know, Zimmer Twins did shut down before that. And I found that out on August 1st, and I thought I only had until August 7th. It turned out I had until August 10th, so I did wind up getting some extra recordings done. When I was doing some extra recordings, I wound up accidentally overwriting some old ones, so I had to try to figure out what I'd overwritten so I could re-record it. And I wound up getting everything except footage of me scrolling through my Zimmer Twins profile and all of its movies, so that's the only thing I lost, and that wasn't super important. What's a lot more important is I have all the movies I made on Zimmer Twins, but just everything that I thought I might need for making the video, I didn't even have a script at this point. I would just get as much B-roll of that as possible, like using the movie maker, playing the games, stuff like that, browsing through the movies and must-sees, and I'd consciously chosen to do my recording in a way that made it a lot simpler to edit. So I knew I wanted panning across the web page. Well, you can just do that, you know, you can just click the little bar on the side and scroll down the web page as slowly or as fast as you want. Then I could crop out browser UI using OBS, the software I was recording with, and then in editing, if anything made it through, or if there was anything I couldn't crop out but had to like block with what looked like background, I could do that in editing. But there really wasn't a lot of complex editing in that video. It was just gathering a lot of footage, gathering Zimmer Twins TV show episodes from different regions, and those I gathered from YouTube. I didn't archive those myself. I grabbed screenshots of some stuff, but really the video started coming together when I started making the script, and immediately it was evident to me that the script wasn't quite what I was wanting, because initially I had thought about just recording it with audio, you know, instead of writing a script, and I can do that, and I can cover categories, and I can make it seem like it's scripted. But the problem is, it wound up being such an ambitious and long video that just wasn't practical. And then my script just wasn't coming together as well as I was hoping. But one day it just sort of dawned on me the stuff that I'd wanted to say but couldn't put to words. And I just wrote that as fast as I could. And I had already started recording by this point, so I went through all my notes and script elements and tried to arrange it in a coherent manner. And then I had to like figure out how that applied to what I had already recorded so that I could stick stuff in and keep it coherent. Every element of making that video was just such a mess, and when I finished, my desktop was just covered probably about 90%, like at least 80 or 90% in icons to various things. Like, it was just a mad rush to get everything put together. Now, all this was done to save time, and it could have really wound up biting me, but thankfully it didn't. I did have a lot of software problems, a lot of software crashes. As it turns out, you know, what was initially 45 minutes of audio, Audacity just really doesn't like having that much audio, you know, saved in one timeline at a time. And, you know, I doubt it's my specs because, you know, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, you know, I have a Ryzen 5 1600, but I just kept getting problems that would lock up. DaVinci Resolve was the same way, and I have an RTX 2060 Super. You know, I think some of that could have been related to I have an old mechanical hard drive. I'm in fact finally getting an SSD. But the bottom line is there were some technical problems too. And when I was actually editing the video together in my editing software, for some reason the beginning of my Audacity recording would keep cutting off and it would fade in, and it was supposed to just start playing. And eventually I figured it out. I have to like just trim literally the first 24th of a second of audio off, and then it plays just fine even when I export it. but that did wind up making it into the final video, and you can kind of hear it. In post on YouTube, I edited that part out, but you can still hear how at first it only plays in one side, you know, not both left and right channels, but there was a lot of cutting, a lot of keeping footage to match up with what I'm talking about, and it was pretty simple as far as, like, you know, it was basic methods. I wasn't using any advanced effects or anything, but I wanted it, you know, to have a level of professionalism as far as like the way it looked and stuff. And then I started to run out of time, so in the last part where I'm going over people's experiences with the website, you know, with their Q&A answers and stuff like that, it's literally just a 40-second clip blurred of scrolling through the Zimmer Twins blog section, and it just plays that for like the last, I don't know, quarter of the video. So the video wasn't perfect, you know, there was stuff I forgot to mention, there were little mistakes here and there. Some of them were technical, some of them it just needed a little bit more time, but I was determined that I needed to get it out no later than 6:30 on the day I said it was going to come out, because I had said initially it was going to come out at 3, and on that last day I literally worked 12 hours straight on the video. Like 12 hours straight. I was a complete mess. I was so nervous when it premiered. I never got to see the video all the way through, and making it was such a mess. Even when I was editing segments, I never got to see the segments. You know, I just had to hope that the editing was competent and then just move on because I didn't have time. The music, which was meant to be a very deliberate part of the video, because the whole video was meant to represent what the future of my channel is going to be, it just kind of had to be dropped in haphazard. I only got to put 3 tracks in spots where I felt like they would fit the tone of the video at that point. Everything else just filled in the gaps, and I just had to tune the volume once. Turned out I had it just a tiny bit too loud, and once the video fully processed, it's okay. It's a little hard to hear my voice at some points in the video, but it's not as bad as it initially seemed. But around the end of my audio recording, I started like choking up when I was recording. As a result, that part sounds kind of monotone, because that was the only way I could get out the ending parts of that video. And I recorded the opening and the ending of the premiere, and you can hear in my voice that I was very nervous, plus the fact that I said I was nervous like 7 times. This is easily the most nervous I've ever been before uploading a video.
You'll do great.
Hopefully I haven't left in any mistakes. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was awesome. Final goodbyes.
So was it worth the wait?
Yes.
Oh yeah. It was great.
But I just really had no idea how the video was going to turn out at all. And I was just really worried that people were going to be like, well, we've waited all this time for this and it's really not that good. But it turned out to be a really big success. The video is actually, I believe, just crossed 300 views. It's still the best performing video I've ever had as far as the space of time that it's actually been out. And the response was just overwhelmingly positive. And I'd just like to thank everybody, you know, for your comments and liking the video and watching the whole thing. I know it's a big video, and I personally am into videos in that style, like long documentary style videos about stuff like that, but I know it's not for everyone, and I'm just thankful that people have responded so well to the video. So I think that's about everything I wanted to cover in this video. Part 3 is coming at some point, and it's going to be about the making of Zimmer Twins and the makers of Zimmer Twins. I'm gonna pool as many resources as I can to try to cover as much as possible. I'm even gonna see if I can get maybe some people involved in the making of Zimmer Twins to answer a couple questions for me, but no promises there, obviously. I have no idea when the video is gonna come out, and I'm done promising deadlines because it just doesn't work out well for me. So yeah, part 3 is coming, and that's the end of the video here.